In a recent video, I looked at the UFO reports from the past, the stories of strange airships being spotted across Europe and the US. Those reports were from a time before photography, or at least when it was in its infancy. With the advancement of camera technology has come a huge number of images of unidentifiable objects in the sky. The Telegraph, a British newspaper, has just posted some of the best images captured over the past 140 years. If we inspect the pictures of these UFOs, can we see if they offer proof that we have indeed been visited for over a century by aerial craft that defy explanation? Let's take a look at the images and give an opinion on what was captured. Welcome to IF, videos on history, mystery and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. So let's have a look through the evidence and see if any of these images provide us with undeniable proof of alien craft visiting Earth. And remember that these pictures come from a time before digital photo manipulation. First up is a picture that is often claimed to be the earliest picture of a UFO. This snap was taken from the summit of Mount Washington, New Hampshire in 1870. I think it's a picture that is not easily explained away. The shape and form is consistent with reports over the century. Next up is a very early photograph of an unidentified flying object. It was taken somewhere in the United States during the 1920s, and it shows a UFO in the top right corner of the image, which I think is most likely an artifact from when the picture was printed. So this one, not so great. The third offering shows an object hovering over a sawmill in Ward County, Colorado in April of 1929. We can see what appears to be a UFO at the top of the picture, and it looks more like a UFO than the previous capture. It has some pronounced detail, which makes it look as if it is some kind of technology that does not belong in that period of time. Now, jumping to New Year's Day of 1939. This picture shows an unidentified man somewhere in the United States, and an unidentified object is clearly visible in the background. This does look as if it is another artifact from printing, but if you look a little closer, it does look more like an actual captured object in the sky. It has the distinct cigar shape that is often described by witnesses. Now to a picture that is well known in the ufology community, a photo of the infamous Foo Fighters of World War II. These UFOs were often pictured alongside Allied aircraft as they flew sorties and raids during the war. I love this image as it's one of the first I saw, and this print isn't the clearest, there are better out there. This picture is one of the pieces of evidence that originally sparked my interest in ufology. Now for a story and photo that inspired a movie. The picture of the searchlights converging on an unidentified object over Los Angeles on February 25, 1942. The bright blobs around the flashes are anti-aircraft shells exploding. This most famous of UFO interactions has the best backstory and a good paper trail. This is compelling evidence and a picture that we should all be familiar with. In our number 7 spot is a UFO photographed in Tinstin Hoppa province, China in 1942. Several people in the photograph appear to be pointing up at the object, this giving it some authenticity. It is a classic flying saucer shape, but the naysayers out there may see nothing more than a Chinese sampan hat which has been tossed into the air. The next image comes from a Japanese Sally bomber as it flies over the Japanese Sea during 1943, being chased by a dark sphere. This is very much like the US reports of Foo Fighters. I think that this could be some kind of drone inspecting what at the time was cutting-edge human engineering. Again, others see nothing more than debris from the plane. Jumping back to America, a famous picture taken in Burbank, California in 1945, featuring Jack LeMond on a horse with an object in the background. This one looks like the familiar shape of a UFO, a shape seen in some of the other pictures here. To me, this looks to be genuine. Another sighting, this time by 3 Army Air Force veterans who reported 6 flying discs over Catalan Islands, California in 1947, and former aerial photographer Bob Jung said he succeeded in photographing one of these objects. The masts of a steamer can be seen at the bottom of the picture. This is a great capture. It shows an object that was obviously of more interest than what was going on the ground and warranted a picture to be snapped. This photograph shows the familiar cylindrical shape of a UFO. The UFO was photographed over New York City on March 20th, 1950. This is an interesting picture. It's impressive. It shows a cigar or tubular craft, which are often seen just outside of the Earth's atmosphere, and this picture has me believing. The next few pics come from Guy B. Marquardt Jr., who took this picture on a mountain road near Riverside, California on November. Also, then in 1951, he said the object above the skyline was a flying saucer. Then there is an amateur photograph of a UFO taken in Pasora, New Jersey from July of 1952. These pictures are impressive, the last being one of the clearest photographs of a saucer-type craft ever taken. We are now up to 15 images, I think. On July 19th, 1952, Customs Inspector Domingo Troncoso took his picture on the jungle frontier between Peru and Bolivia. The big dirigible-shaped craft was flying horizontally and fairly low in the sky, passing from right to left from the observer's position. This craft looking like the many alien ships I covered in the video of the same title. This is another great picture, and the contrail or smoke coming from the object is a detail I don't think would have been hoaxed. Picking up the pace, let's take a look at the next 4 photographs. Washington, D.C., 1952, and some UFOs were photographed flying over the Capitol building during a wave of sightings above the city. 4 Sicilian men watched 2 unidentified objects over Sicily on December 10th, 1954. Then we have Ella Louise Fortune, who worked as a nurse at the Mescarillo Indian Reservation near the 3 Rivers, New Mexico. She took this picture while driving along Highway 54 on October 16, 1957, near Holloman Air Force Base. In September of 1957, this picture was snapped by a test pilot near Edwards Air Force Base in California. It shows a UFO apparently following a B-47 jet. These 4 images show some very intriguing pictures, and with the locations of the White House and a military base, it would stand to reason that these photographs would be genuine due to the close monitoring of such sites. So we're coming down to the last 10 photographs. This shot was taken on January 16th in 1958 over Trinidad Island in Brazil. At the time, it was widely dismissed as a hoax, although doubts have now been expressed at this conclusion. For another Asian sighting with one of the many photographs taken in Japan. This one shows an object over Kaizuka in 1958. This is an excellent picture that is a textbook definition of what most think of when they hear the initials UFO. The lighting of the object is superb and goes some way to show this is an authentic image. Next up is a photograph that was taken by an unidentified photographer on December 22nd in 1958. This in Poland. It's not as good as the previous picture and it doesn't show anything that would persuade those that do not believe. This picture shows a craft which could have been cloaked. Trevor Constable took it on May 17, 1958 at Giant Rock, California. The object above the ridge was not seen by witnesses at the time, but only became apparent after the film was developed. Next is this impressive offering of another famous UFO photograph. This was shot by Joseph Siegel on June 18, 1959 at Waikiki, Hawaii. This to me is not very compelling and could be an overexposed area in the picture. Now to South America and a photograph that was taken on July 3rd of 1960 by a very reliable witness, an Argentinian Air Force captain who went by the name Hugo Niotti. He snapped this picture near Cordoba, Argentina. So to the final four, and this picture which was taken somewhere in the United States on June 10th, 1964 and was discovered in an attic some years later. And then we have Alan Smith's photograph which he captured at about 1:45 AM on August 2nd, 1965 in his backyard in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 5 other witnesses saw a UFO change color from white to red to blue-green. Also, this object was photographed over Adelaide, Australia during 1965. It was seen to hover for around 20 minutes before it shot off to the east. Then, a Rex Heflin, an Orange County highway inspector, was at work in a county vehicle on August 3rd, 1965 when he saw a hat-shaped object hovering above the road. He grabbed his Polaroid camera and took 3 photographs of the metallic appearing object. This group of images again seems to show pictures that are genuine, the testimonies of the photographers supporting the validity of the pictures. Our last picture was captured in the summer of 1966. A flight security official photographed 2 red spheres over the Swiss airport Zurich Clotan. The photo was later released by Swiss air pilot Ferdinand Schmid. It is an officially released picture and shows fast-moving balls of light flying over the airport. UFOs and airports have a strong association, and this picture is some rare proof. Now for a few bonus pictures from the Apollo missions to the moon. First up is Apollo 11 in 1969. This anomaly was shot by Neil Armstrong's crew and has never been clearly identified. Secondly, we have Apollo 14 in 1971, where these lights photographed from the Apollo 11 lander are said to be reflections from the NASA craft, or could they be something that came to the moon from somewhere else? And now we have this pair of pictures from Apollo 15, 1971. Is it film photo or a flying saucer? You can see a strange blue disc is captured over the surface of the moon. And next, Apollo 16 during 1972. This is an object on the Apollo 16 approach to the moon. It has subsequently been dismissed as part of a probe on the moon lander by NASA, an excuse the space agency often uses to explain odd artifacts in their pictures. This is if they haven't just deleted the evidence. These images offer us a tantalizing glimpse of just some of the millions of pictures and video of objects in the skies above almost every country on this planet. With a dossier of so many pictures and the associated stories, we do really need to question the agenda of secrecy that surrounds the topic of UFOs. We are approaching a time when I feel all will be revealed. We will see, finally, official recognition of some, if not all of these pictures, and we may well be told that these visitors have been coming since the start of humanity's history. Let me know what you think about these pictures in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.